You're living in medieval Europe, at the height of the 14th century, when suddenly the cold wind brings more than just the smell of burning logs. It brings the whisper of the Black Death. No matter where you live, walled city or mud village, if you're a doctor, you're basically signing your own death warrant. But at least you'll die wearing a crow's beak mask that might seem stylish today, but back then was your last gasp of hope. Early in the morning, you pull on your layers of thick clothing, swallow your fear, and shove that leather beak over your face, stuffed with herbs, flowers, and spices. They say it filters the putrid plague air. You pretend to believe it. As you adjust your hardened wax gloves, your mind knows this won't stop the death. But it's either that or watch everyone around you rot without doing anything. Your day begins before the sun rises. Every visit is an invitation to bring the plague into your own home. You knock on the door of a family who looks at you with wide eyes. They want you to save the sick, but they are also afraid to come near you. You are a doctor, but you are also a walking omen that someone is already half dead. Inside the dark house, the smell is unbearable. Bodies coughing up blood, black blisters on the skin, low moans mixed with prayers. You try opening windows, pouring vinegar on the floor, lighting herbs. All ritual, nothing works. Your only real defense is distance. But ironically, you need to touch, examine, feel for a pulse. You try bloodletting, poultices, strange powders. You scrape the wounds, burn the cloths. You feign authority, but you know, everyone dies the same, only the speed changes. With each visit, your crow's beak is soaked in the putrid smell of flesh rotting alive. You walk home alone, trying not to touch anything. The leather of the mask heats your face, sweat drips down, mixed with fear. You wonder how long it will be before you feel the first chills. At night, you scribble notes on stained parchment. You draw blisters, describe symptoms, suggest new concoctions. It's useless, but you have to appear useful. If you don't, you'll be suspected of witchcraft, or worse, of spreading the disease. Sometimes the richest people call you, but it's all the same. Palaces or huts, the plague enters without knocking. You enter a nobleman's room, pass by expensive tapestries, step on carpets that hide fleas. Those damned fleas, jumping from rat to rat, from body to body. You do your best not to cough. On the streets, people spit in your direction. Some kneel, others avoid you as if you were the devil himself. Children cry when they see your black beak. You are half savior, half monster. The churches are filled with bodies piled up. You are called to pray, to give a medical opinion. The priest expects miracles, but what you bring is confirmation that no one will leave there breathing for a long time. At home, you sleep badly. Your family, if they are not dead yet, sleeps far from you. Sometimes you hear footsteps in the street, carts taking corpses to mass graves, dogs barking at the rats that reign supreme. The king gives orders, quarantine, burn clothes, burn houses. You obey. You're a doctor, but now you are almost an executioner. You decide who lives in isolation and who should be thrown into the ditch. Some days death knocks on your door. You feel feverish. Is it just tiredness? Is it just the cold? You pray to Saint Roch, the patron saint of the sick. You pray not to cough, but you cough, lightly, just a catch in your throat. You pretend it's the smell of herbal smoke, but you know it's not. The cold sweat on the back of your neck gives you away. The next day, you put the mask back on. The leather strap tightens your already feverish forehead. You go out anyway. It's better to die working than to rot doing nothing. In the alley, he sees another doctor lying on the ground. His mask is torn, His eyes are open and glazed. No one touches the body. No one cries. He is just one among thousands. You walk, holding your long stick, pushing bodies to make way. In each face you ask yourself, is it me tomorrow? In his mind he recalls what he has studied: astrology, body humors, bloodletting, all useless. What really kills is the rat. But who will listen to that? People prefer to pray to saints and blame witches. At night, alone, you write your last notes. You try to draw the disease again. The candle burns low, casting dancing shadows on the wall. You scratch your neck. Do you feel a blister? Or is it just paranoia? You blow out the candle, close your eyes. Outside, the plague laughs softly, whispering, "Your crow's beak doesn't matter. Your staff doesn't matter. Your parchment doesn't matter." In the Europe of the Black Death, the doctor is just another victim with a limited lifespan, and death, that one, doesn't need a mask to recognize you.
As day breaks, you drag yourself to the door. The air is heavy with fog and smoke from the many fires burning clothes and bodies. Your fingertips throb. Maybe it's cold, maybe it's fever. Your head feels heavy beneath your wide hat, but you fasten the hood, adjust the peak, and head out for another round of visit. On the way, you pass carts full of bloody sheets, hungry dogs sniffing in damp corners, muffled screams from inside the locked houses. Some shout your name, "Doctor, come quickly!" Others lock their windows as you approach, because if you are there, it means the plague has already entered. You reach a door where a thin woman is waiting for you, eyes sunken, holding a baby. The cry is weak, hoarse. You put your hand on the small chest, too hot, the pulse weak, tiny blisters on the neck. The mother begs you with her eyes, but you know, nothing you can do can take away death from here. You mumble advice, vinegar, isolation, burning clothes, praying. That's all that's left. The woman kisses her son's forehead and looks at you as if you were an executioner who has just signed the sentence of the one she loves most. You step back into the street. The smell of decay clings to the leather of your mask. You breathe through dried flowers, but the stench of bodies overwhelms everything. A crow lands on a rooftop and watches you, an omen as black as the beak that covers your face. Sometimes soldiers from the city stop you. They want to know if the plague is over. They want assurances that they are safe. You respond with silence or empty words, because you know that it is the rat who decides, not you. In the darkest alleys, you see groups burning entire shacks to contain the advance. Entire families are expelled, trying to save furniture, throwing buckets of water on flames that do not respect prayers. You watch, helpless, with the stick in your hand, just witnessing the collapse. At night, he writes down the names of patients, the ink streaks running from his pen as his hand shakes. He tries not to cough too loudly so as not to wake up those who still live under the same roof. The creaking of the floorboards echoes in the room. Is it just the wood or the footsteps of a mouse? When he lies down, the leather of his uniform presses against his chest. He feels his fever rising like a slow fire. He prays to Saint Sebastian, the protector against plagues, but his whisper mixes with the howling of the wind outside. In a dream, you see yourself without a mask, surrounded by candles. Faceless patients, all coughing, point thin fingers at you. Your crow's beak melts, turns to ash. You wake up sweaty, choking, the sheet stuck to your body. The next morning you can barely stand. Even so, you tie your hat and fasten your gloves. Outside, another row of locked doors awaits you. As you walk, you pass a man lying delirious on the floor. No one comes near you, but you have to. You kneel, touch his forehead, listen to his breathing. Another condemned man. Inside, you want to give up everything, run away to the countryside, disappear into the forest. But you are a plague doctor. There is no escape for someone who carries death in his clothes. You yourself are a human mouse, unwittingly spreading the very thing you swore to fight. Sometimes you wonder how many people you really helped, if anyone lived, if it was worth it. But you quickly swallow the thought, because the line of sick people never ends. In an alley, you cross paths with another doctor. You exchange a tired look, shake your heads, say nothing. There is no conversation between equals, only the certainty that tomorrow one of you could be just another body. Later, inside a makeshift chapel, you see bodies piled up like firewood. A priest prays, his voice hoarse, the incense trying to drown out the smell that no one can bear. You make the sign of the cross, not out of faith, but because it is the only thing that still gives you the feeling of being alive. When night falls, you sit by a candle, open your parchment. You write down a last theory, a new herbal recipe, a combination of strange powders. A mosquito lands on your hand. You kill it with a slap, and you laugh to yourself. Who would have thought a mosquito daring to bite the man who lives surrounded by death? Sometimes you find yourself looking at your reflection in a basin of water. Under the leather spout, you try to imagine your face, sunken eyes, pale skin, a shadow of what it once was. The water mirror gives you back a face that perhaps no one else will ever see. Think of the bodies carried in carts, the shallow graves, the hard earth that cannot hide so many corpses. Think of the rats that continue to jump from rooftop to rooftop, invisible owners of a Europe in ruins. When you lie down again, you hear bells tolling in the distance, another sign of death, another warning that tomorrow you will put on your crow's beak and go out, not as a savior, but as a witness to an end that seems to never end. And so your journey ends. To be a doctor in the Black Death is to wear a costume of hope that does not deceive death. Because in the end, crow's beak does not cure plague. It only prolongs the fear until you too fall into the ditch.